Jag heter Martin Vidaeus, jag är VD i Redwood Pharma. Innan jag drar igång den här presentationen idag vill jag välkomna alla som tittar på nätet. Det finns mycket information om vårt bolag på hemsidan www.redwoodpharma.com. Allt från finansiellt till videointervjuer med mig. Innan jag drar igång med presentationen, som jag kommer att göra på engelska på grund av att vi har eventuella samarbetspartners, internationella partners som tittar på nätet, så använder vi av presentationer som läggs upp på nätet på ett sätt att kommunicera med dem. Så att om ni hoppas att jag inte förlorar er, tappar er här under dagen. Men innan jag drar igång så tycker jag det är intressant med den här dagen därför att det är många bolag, inte inom life science, som presenterar. Och jag skulle vilja veta, bara se om ni kan räcka upp händerna här, räcka upp handen. Hur många av er har investerat i ett life science-bolag tidigare? Ja, jättebra. Men då ska jag ta tillfället att presentera bolaget och informera era nya ägare till Redwood. Mycket har hänt de senaste... Förlåt. I want to first say welcome to everybody that is watching on the internet today in English. This 5th of March 2018, Redwood Pharma is taking this opportunity to present to investors on the internet and our international partners. So in terms of what's happened during the past 5 months, a lot, I can say. We have accomplished a lot according to plan. We have published toxicology safety results for our lead project, RP101, a therapy for the treatment of chronic dry eye disease. And there's a lot that's happened, even in the past 2 weeks. And at the risk of insulting Swedish sensibilities, I will tell you that we've had a fantastic number of good pieces of information that have come out, including, number one, that we received our partner, Broder Technologies, who is the innovator and inventor of the IntelliGel platform, has informed us that they will be receiving a new US patent for the IntelliGel platform. And this in itself is very important for us because it actually broadens the applicability of the IntelliGel formulation. We can formulate in many other ways. We have more methods of producing the drug delivery system. So this is an increased value for us as a company. We have also, a week ago, we announced that we've entered into an agreement with an Asian pharmaceutical partner who is now going to evaluate the IntelliGel platform. And this is a proof for us that IntelliGel is a solid, viable system for delivering active substances to the front of the eye. We also went out with a press release that we just had a successful meeting with the Swedish Medical Products Agency, which considered our plan for going into clinical phase 2 trials of our RP101. And we see that they had very few comments about it, and what that gives to us is a clear signal that we can start our phase 2 clinical trial for RP101 shortly. So we have delivered, and we've had very good news to come out with the past 2 days, or 2 weeks, sorry. So a little bit about Redwood Pharma. What are we? Well, we're a company that has several different assets in the company. One is a hydrogel drug delivery system to deliver active substances to the front of the eye in a controlled release manner. What this is a way of delivering medicines to the front of the eye and controlling the release so that you can possibly reduce the number of installations per day, reduce the amount of medicine on the front of the eye, and perhaps even reduce side effects. This is a very interesting area for Big Pharma today in terms of improving existing drugs on the market, to develop new drugs around a way of controlling the release of active substances. The second thing that we have is phase 2 clinical data regarding an active substance in the treatment of chronic dry eye disease in postmenopausal women. There were 2 studies done in the US that confirmed significance in terms of efficacy, and we, the company, have rights to that. We are able to build upon that information and to develop our own program. Then we have an experienced team that have founded companies before and done exits for investors. And we have 2 attractive partnering opportunities. One is with our novel dry eye therapy, RP101, which is focused to a unique target patient population with a unique biological mechanism, and we're looking for partners to help us take that development project from the end of phase 2 to market. And then we have the drug delivery system, which we called IntelliGel, which is used for the delivery of active substances to the front of the eye, and we are there also looking for partners in developing new drugs. So a little bit about the company. We were established in Stockholm in 2012. We are listed on Aktiedagen. In 2016, we did an IPO. Our focus is on the development of new ophthalmic medicines, and our lead product is within the treatment of chronic dry eye disease in postmenopausal women. We also have our technology, the IntelliGel drug delivery platform, and we use an external network of contract providers and expertise to help us with various aspects of development. Our core expertise is in early drug development and clinical development. So now let me talk to you about dry eye disease. Many of you probably don't know about it. It's more prevalent than you think. And then I'm going to talk to you about our solution, which we called RP101, and the commercial potential for this product. The market itself is growing, and it will reach about $2.7 billion in size in 2022. And there are quite a few compelling facts about the need. Dry eye and the medicines to treat dry eye is the 4th largest segment of medicines in the ophthalmic space, behind glaucoma, bacterial conjunctivitis, and age-related macular degeneration. And the symptoms are many. They can be dryness, redness, a feeling of pain, foreign body sensation. And today, for those people who are suffering from moderate to severe dry eye, you see that they don't have an adequate solution, an adequate therapy to treat them. And this ends up in being a reduced quality of life, where patients can't have trouble in driving a car, using a computer, and so forth. And what we see is that it's primarily postmenopausal women who don't have an adequate solution today, and the US FDA, Food and Drug Administration, calls this a serious unmet need. So today, there's very few solutions for the treatment where most patients refer to tear substitutes that you could buy at the drugstore, punctal plugs, which then try to keep the tear film in the eye longer, not letting the tear film evaporate. And then you have 2 products, one in the US called Xiidra by Shire. That came out last year, and it has side effects such as perhaps altering your taste, and cyclosporin, which is sold by Allergan as Restasis, which sells for $1.5 billion annually in the US. And in the EU, Santen sells Icarus. This product, cyclosporin, has significant side effects for about 20% of the population who takes it in terms of pain and stinging. And so it helps only a very small portion of the market. Here we can say there's a large unmet need for a new therapy. Dry eye disease is a very interesting area because it's a multifactorial syndrome. There's not one type of dry eye. There are several ones out there. And there's not one solution, one therapy that can treat all. And here it just underscores the need for new therapies. And what we see is that dry eye the incidence increases when you become older, if you're in a dry or warm environment. And many times it could be an inflammatory response that's associated with Sjögren's syndrome. But primarily it's hormonal changes in and around the eye that cause dry eye. And we see that it's postmenopausal women that are suffering. And globally, if you look at the demographics, there are over 100 million people that suffer. It's a huge market. There's 6 million women and 3 million men in the US that suffer from the chronic version, from moderate to severe dry eye, without an adequate therapy today. And the National Eye Institute estimates that there are probably 3.4 million women, postmenopausal women, that are suffering in the US. So as the graphs below demonstrate, there are 2 times more women than men that suffer from it. And even though there are 2/3 of the population suffer from the milder version and can go get tear substitutes that you can buy at the drugstore, there's a large underserved segment here. 1/3 are suffering from moderate to severe dry eye with no solution today, and it's primarily postmenopausal women, and that is what we in Redwood Pharma are working towards, the first therapy targeted to them. And that goes into a little description of what is our dry eye, what is our RP101 therapy. It's our first program for the development of a targeted therapy. And what is it? It's a combination of two components. One is a hormone, and the hormone is an active pharmaceutical ingredient, an API, that is an analog of a well-known hormone that is formulated and sold in over 20 different products globally. So there is very good safety information about it. The regulatory agencies are aware of it. It minimizes our development risk. And what we have in Redwood Pharma is we have information from 2 prior phase 2 trials that show safety and efficacy. This is really important, as our company will benefits from this prior knowledge. The IntelliGel system is the other component. It helps control the release of the active substance. It's been tested in vitro and in toxicology testing, where we show that the API and the product RP101 is safe. And we have exclusive license for use of this technology within ophthalmology. Here is some information regarding RP101 and the highlights from the 2 prior phase 2 clinical trials. As I said, we have rights to IND and clinical data from Nascent Pharmaceuticals in the US, where they tested 138 postmenopausal women. And the results demonstrated that there was significant or marked improvement in both objective signs and subjective symptoms, and the active substance has a good safety profile. This information allows us to hone in on a specific phase 2 clinical trial design and limiting the scope of it. We don't need to bring in 1,000 patients to do a phase 2 trial because we already have the data. The size of the trial is smaller. We know the dosing levels that need to be tested. It minimizes development risk. It minimizes investor risk, and it also minimizes regulatory risk. We are faster to market and much more effective in our trial. So as the previous formulation was dosed 4 times a day, what we intend to do is to reduce the number of doses today with the IntelliGel platform to improve compliance and conformance. So to then move the number of doses from 4 to 2 or 1 time a day, we can increase convenience for patients. It'll be a preservative-free solution, which is in vogue today. We're trying to go away from preservatives that can cause perhaps some side effects, and we are going to be testing a multi-dose container in our phase 2 trial. Why is this technology or product unique? And what we surmise here is that our mechanism, our way of treating this disease is by actually affecting a biological mechanism, an underlying biological mechanism, and we'll be the first one to do that. Where today products are focused on treating inflammation, what we're doing is applying a hormone to the front of the eye. The active substance penetrates the cell wall, triggers the production of the components of the tear film, which we see are the lipid phase, the aqueous phase, and the mucin phase. What we do is we restore the natural tear film. And that's the first time any product does this. Highlights from the prior phase 2 trial reveal that we can increase the amount of tear film production and thus reduce symptoms. On the left, we see a graph where we see the production of tear film measured by the anesthetized Schirmer test. It's the red line that you see going from the left to the right. Over 12-week period, we see that we increase the amount of tear film. On the right, we have a subjective measure of foreign body sensation, which decreases over time. So what a wonderful correlation. We see on the left, we're able to manufacture tear film, and on the right, we're able to reduce symptoms. Here we prove that we can actually help patients. So it's with pleasure that I can announce that we are going to start our phase 2 trial very shortly, and we will be testing RP101 in postmenopausal women with moderate to severe chronic dry eye disease, and we'll be measuring both objective and subjective signs and symptoms. There'll be a host of different types of measurements, and the idea is that we will be able to identify those signs and symptoms that will function best for our partner in a phase 3 trial. That's the whole purpose of a phase 2 trial. We will be testing 100 patients within 4 groups. It'll be a masked, placebo-controlled trial, and the patients will be tested over a 90-day period in clinics in the middle of Europe, in Germany, Hungary, and Austria. And the reason why we've selected those countries is that Cross Alliance, our partner who's managing the trial for us, has a good knowledge of clinics that will be able to recruit patients. So we're very happy that Cross is managing the trial for us, as they have performed other successful phase 2 trials within dry eye, and that data have been fundamental for deals with big pharma. Our principal investigator will be Professor Gerhard Garhofer from the Medical University of Vienna. And we're very grateful that he is on board, as he sits as an advisor to many of the large pharmaceutical firms dealing with this area. Now let me talk to you a little bit about IntelliGel and our platform. As I said, pharmaceutical firms are interested in new ways of delivering existing drugs to the front of the eye, where they can perhaps reduce the number of installations per day, the amount of medication delivered to the eye, in order to achieve good performance benefits. One example is latanoprost, that's sold and manufactured in a glaucoma medicine, where over time these medicines can cause a browning of the eye. Here are ideal opportunities to help reduce the amount of active substance in order to avoid such types of side effects. What we have is access now to a patented supramolecular drug delivery platform that is based on a poloxamer. And what we're able to do is to use this within all ophthalmic indications. We have exclusive global rights to it. It behaves like water at room temperature, but when it comes into contact with a warm surface, it turns into a gel. And this gel then slows down the release or the transfer or the transport of active substances. That is the fundamental beauty of our platform here. It has excellent bioavailability and sustained release, meaning that it keeps the active substance on the eye longer. We blink about 15 times a minute, and the idea is how can we keep the substance, the medicine on the eye longer, so that it doesn't get flushed out. And this is what this technology helps us do, is to keep it on the eye longer. It's odor-free, it's clear, it's transparent, it's reversible, it's non-irritating, non-allergenic, and it's manufactured and sold in products in the US and China today. Here is a picture of how it behaves. On the right-hand side, on the picture up top, you see that at room temperature, it almost is like water. Once you raise the temperature over a threshold, it stiffens. And this is what we see will happen on the front of the eye. The heat that's in the eye will then cause this gelation to happen. The matrix stiffens, slows down the release of the active substance, and allows us to achieve the performance benefits for our customers. The picture below shows an experiment. You look at our active substance formulated in two different solutions. One is our gel, and the other is in a standard PBS solution. This is a test that actually measured the diffusion of our active substance across a membrane. And we can see over a 12-hour period that we were able to actually reduce the diffusion. And this itself is confirmation about the possibilities that we have. So not only can it control the release of active substances, it can help us slow the rate of release, and we see that it could be used in possible OTC applications just as a carrier of water without any active substance. So the commercial possibilities here are large here in terms of helping companies develop newer medicines, better medicines regarding this technology. IP status, we have protection through the IntelliGel platform. There's a US patent issued and a Japanese patent as well. There is a US patent that will be issued shortly, as I mentioned earlier. Although RP101, the active substance, is not patentable, we believe that we will get data exclusivity regarding generics protection once we get out on the market. And we see that there are new patent opportunities with RP101, with the platform, and we can create new patent possibilities, opportunities with other active substances with the IntelliGel platform. In terms of dry eye and its unique position today, or our unique position of our product, on the left-hand side of this table, you see that it's cyclosporin that dominates, treating inflammation. Here, Restasis is the global leader. There are no products on the market today that use our active substance that are focused on the same biological mechanism. In terms of phase 3 development or funded phase 2 projects, there are no other projects that are developing a product targeted towards our mechanism as well as the target patient population. So we are very uniquely positioned. And in terms of potential sales potential here, people pay money for treating of this disease. 1.9 million people in the US, 1.9 million people in the EU. At 10% penetration, we believe our partner could garner $500 million in sales. That's not trivial. And then at 20%, we're talking $1 billion. That's a lot of money. And so we think that the IntelliGel drug delivery system can lower the doses of active substances today, control the release over a period of time. We can develop our own products with IntelliGel for glaucoma, perhaps bacterial conjunctivitis, and so forth. And then we have out-licensing of IntelliGel to larger pharmaceutical firms who want to take over development and improvement of their own products. A lot of deals are being done in the eye space. The last 7 years have seen an increasing activity regarding deals. I'm not going to go through this whole list, but the big players within dry eye, Novartis, Allergan, Shire, all doing deals between $50 and $500 million in size. So we have timed the market really well. So to round off this presentation, I want to say that we are continuing to build value. We have a unique treatment for dry eye disease with a known active substance, reducing risk in terms of regulatory development, and increasing value of our company. We have clinical data that demonstrates safety and efficacy. We have lower risks, as I said, according to our program. We don't have the same risks as, say, a cancer product, which has a new antibody that has never been tested before. The recent launch of Shire Xiidra proves that the regulatory authorities are ready to help shepherd new products through the regulatory pathway. This reduces regulatory risk, and we will start phase 2 trials for RP101 shortly. So. And lastly, I want to round off by saying that we're very happy that we have a company that has started testing of our IntelliGel platform, or will be evaluating it it, and that is the ultimate confirmation to us about the commercial viability of IntelliGel, and I invite you all to become new members and owners of Redwood Pharma. Thank you.
Tack så mycket, Martin. Tack så mycket, Martin. Kom över. Du var inte riktigt färdig där. Du får alltid komma till mig först
tack.
Och svara på några frågor. Och frågestunden tar vi på svenska. Nu tänker jag, nu har vi inte så lång tid kvar, så att jag tänker att jag vill faktiskt först bjuda in er. Har ni någon viktig fråga ni vill ställa till Martin? Inte för tillfället. Då vill jag fråga så här. Ni skriver i ert bokslut att ledande globala läkemedelsbolag är intresserade av er. Det låter ju väldigt spännande. Hur märker du det?
Ja, vi har ju blivit kontaktade av dem. Vi har ju pågående diskussioner med dessa företag. Vi träffar dem på konferenser och har möten med dem. Så att de är klart intresserade.
Vad är ditt drömscenario att de leder till?
Ja, vår idé är ju att ta fram vår främsta produkt RP101 fram till slutet av fas 2-prövningen. Och då skulle de komma in och ta över den kliniska utvecklingen i fas 3 och skriva under ett licensavtal med oss. Och då skulle vi kunna generera kassaflöde från dessa avtal.
Mm. Vad skulle det betyda för potential för de här investerarna som sitter här i rummet?
Ja, jag tycker att möjligheten är stora. Vi är, om man tittar på aktiekursen idag, så tycker jag att vi är relativt undervärderade. Om man skulle kliva in nu som en ägare, så tror jag att möjligheten är jättestort att ni kommer att se en vinst på er för er investering egentligen.
Men nu pratar vi om biotech också. Ja. Man brukar se det som en hög risk att gå in. Vad säger du om er riskprofil?
Ja, jag tycker att alla har ansvaret att granska investeringsmöjligheterna, att läsa prospekt och så vidare. Det är ju viktigt att förstå vad man investerar i. Om man tittar bara inom life science-investeringar, så tycker jag att vi har en väldigt attraktiv investeringscase på grund av att vi har en känd substans som finns idag formulerat i andra läkemedel ute på marknaden. Det innebär att det finns inte samma regulatorisk risk. Och det här är så att jag tycker främst att största ägaren i bolaget, att det finns ju inte så många andra investeringar i läkemedelsområdet, i utvecklingsområdet som har den här profilen. Ganska relativt låg risk och jättestor marknadspotential.
Men ni i bolaget, ni har ett stort jobb att göra för att komma den här vägen fram till den här visionen du beskrev här nu. Vad är de viktigaste sakerna för er att klara av eller övervinna för att det här ska bli på riktigt?
Ja. Bra fråga. Men jag kan säga så här att jag tycker att vi har kommit ganska lång bit på vägen här. Vi publicerade resultaten från vår toxikologiska studien här i Q4, vilket innebär att vi har bevisat nu att IntelliGel-plattformen är säker i de här studierna.
Men vad har ni kvar?
Och vi har en fas 2-prövning som vi startar nu. Men jag kan säga att vi har kommit en bra bit på väg, så vi känner oss ganska trygga.
Det kändes som en spännande cliffhanger här att du kör presentationen på engelska eftersom världen tittar. Kan du säga något mer om det?
Nej.
Hemlis?
Nej. Men alltså vi har ju pågående diskussioner med andra företag, både i Europa och i Asien. Och det här är ett ypperligt tillfälle att nå utåt, uppdatera de här bolagen som följer oss.
Då hoppas vi att ni också känner er uppdaterade och ni får ställa fler frågor till Martin här under lunchen. Är du kvar?
Tyvärr inte.
Tyvärr inte. Då får ni kontakta Martin helt enkelt. Men vi tackar dig så mycket så länge.
Tack så mycket.
Och nu är det dags för nästa bolag, nämligen A1M